Hey, JD here with a little show and tell for you guys today. So last week it got a R9290 reference design with the ARCTIC Accelero Xtreme III on. Did a little benching on it this morning, so gonna take a quick look at the scores here. So did a HW submission for it, because obviously an R9290 is not going to put me anywhere near the Hall of Fame on 3D Mark. All I benched was 3D Mark 5 strike. So take a quick look at the card. It's using the ARCTIC Xtreme III, and then I took it apart, cleaned it a little bit, not too much, because I am going to end up running it in my daily system. I had a R9 380. This is slightly better. It scores about 4,000, 5,000 more points combined. Well, also have a new CPU, so technically that other score can't be counted, but yeah, it still does score about 5,000 more GPU points as well. Although I spend significantly more time on this than I have on the 380. That's very power limited. So anyway, I just repasted with some Thermal Grizzly Hydronaut. It's what I use for my CPU. I have some lying around. I have some very cheap other thermal paste as well, but obviously I'm not going to use that on this. And then the RAM and VRM cooling was stuck down already. I got it with the ARCTIC Xtreme III on already for like 2K last weekend. Bought it second hand. So I wanted as much for the cooler as for the GPU, so pretty decent deal in today's market. How much is that in dollars? Less than 150? What? But $60 to $80 about. So not the best deal, but a significant bargain in the current market and in the local market. So I'll just take a quick look at the screenshot. So I've got a 12600 KF at 5 gigahertz on the peak cores, 4 gigahertz equal 3.6 on the cache. So ring. I have tried pushing the ring a little bit higher. It gets a little bit unstable, so it doesn't blue screen or crash or anything, but the IBT Intel burn test, that little flame does freeze a little, so I backed off on that again. I'm on the Tough Gaming Z690 D4. Pretty enjoyable board. The only problem is the X16 up here, and then the 3-slot card. So it covers this X1 slot and this X4 slot. So technically I can put something in this X1, but then you'd have like no space, specifically on the ARCTIC 3, because that's a 3-slot custom cooler. So I only have the bottom X16 slot, which is wired for X4 as far as I'm aware, and then it just has the 4 SATA ports. Obviously it has a significant amount of M.2, but also this comes pretty highly recommended. Got it second hand as well. Good deal on it as well. And then I'm cooling with the H100i Elite Capellix, the 240mm. So it's not the best CPU configure, but 5 gigahertz is stable at 1.29 with LLC like 5 or 6. So it drops down to about 1.24354 in Prime 95, and it's stable there, so I'm pretty happy with that. Even though it is really hot here by us, it's not the middle of summer anymore, but it's still 30 plus 35 degrees Celsius during the day, and in the room that I'm in as well. And then I'm running 32 gig of CJR, So it's not very high. I need to spend some time dialing in the memory. I just haven't had too much time. Work is crazy at the moment. You know, companies have December and February ends, so really busy with there currently. Just running 3600, 17, 19, 19, 39, 58, 2T. I've had it done at 1T. Was pretty unstable because I didn't put any extra voltage in or anything like that, so I will spend some time on that probably next weekend. But yeah, and then so let's get back to the score here. You can see all of these scores on me. I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy with a 12600 KF on a R9290 benching on 3D Mock now. Yeah, I think this about 10,000 score was bone stock, and then this the high 10, low 11,000 score was before I repasted. Just it had very little voltage tolerance. As soon as you start Fire Strike, peak like would start out like 75, it hit 80 and it crash. Well, the card would go, the screen would go blank, and then the system would freeze up. So I had to restart wouldn't even work. I had to like power down the PC completely and then start it up. So this 13704 wasn't bad. 15K graphics core, not the best score I've ever gotten. So let's take a quick look at some of the settings. So 3704. It was running 1175 clock and 1550 megahertz on the memory. Previously, when I was just benching the GT1 and GT2, just custom runs, it was at the same settings. I was getting about 15. My house was 15239, but that was artifacting extremely badly. So then I dialed the clock back to 1150 and I dropped to below 1500, 15,000 on the GPU score, and then I was like, okay, no, it's pretty much the limit. Attempted to increase the memory clock a little bit. I would also artifact a lot. I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is about the limit of my stability. Ran the full test. It was getting pretty hot, 69, so it's not the worst I've ever had. But it does, during GT2, it does get about up to almost 75-ish. I think it peaked like 74. You can take a look there now. So this is the run just drawn up here. Pretty decent physics score. Not great by any means. But for me, coming off my previous system was a 4690K and on a Z87OC formula with just like the green PCB DDR3 at like, I think I was running that at like 1800 megahertz, or 1800. What megabits per second, the Bulldoid speed rating, and that physics score was like 7,000. So yeah, that 34,200 is pretty decent for me. And yeah, we can see pretty steady throughout the whole run. So yeah, we can see the starting off at about 63, so slightly hot, but not very much so. 69, yeah, only peaked about 73. Okay, that's not bad. Some of the previous runs it was peaking 74. I think anything above like 77 and this thing gets very, very unstable. Crash happy. So if we just take a look at some of the... So I'm pretty impressed with the score. It's not that great, but it is 26th for the 290s. Obviously, the global and world record ranking is absolutely horrible. But let's see. So it's what, 24% overclock both. There, just on 850. Let's see if I can take a look on this. I'll just take a look at some of the other scores with the 290. There is some, I think the top score is a Rise with the 5950X. That's absolutely impossible for me to even get near. Yeah, just taking a look at the score. Sorry, my internet isn't. Yes, yeah, he says dry. Yeah, with the. I mean, this is a pretty impressive. I click there. Yeah. Yeah. Also, the 5950 is also on rise. This is a super impressive 14, 13, 13, 28. This thing absolutely whoops me. This is more than 3000 GPU. Higher physics is uncatchable. Also, I'm running mine with tessellation on. It is my daily. Also, when we get to the desktop, you'll see my system is an absolute mess. It's not a very... It's just my daily. So I'm not super crazy about it or anything. This chilled is an H2. This is a super impressive stock score. Lots of water. Yeah, we have a couple more stock scores over here, 1150, 1500. That they do beat me on the GPU as well. But first in my country at least, this is the second best South African. Last night while I was just doing a little couple testing, I came in at like 13,400. So about 30th. I would have been 31st. So I was like, okay, now cool, I know I can improve on that. So this morning I sat down and I got a 13,704. I feel like I could do better, but I was busy getting hot again. So like, okay, no, I'll stop. So, but when I'm say artifacts quite a bit, it really does artifact a lot. I can show you quickly. Okay, it's going to look worse on the capture card than what it actually is. But yeah, so we're just going to do just a custom run. Let's just open MSI Afterburner. Okay, so I'll just quickly show the settings here. Oh, that just goes to 50, yes. And then just here, also all the way up. And then the fan speed's already maxed out. See, the GPU is idling now at 49 degrees Celsius at 881 and 250. So that's pretty hot here. So that's 50C. We might get a little bit of a problem, but yeah, also this capture card really doesn't like the artifacting the benchmark. I'm running it through a capture card because OBS won't just capture the screen. It has some weird issue that I'll try and sort out, but I just wanted to get this done. And we'll see now it's going to get hot. So the score should be slightly lower because I'm recording at the same time. Yeah, you can see artifacting. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to pull through to the capture card, but this artifacting is looking slightly worse than the actual run. GT1's done just as it hit 71. Okay, GT2 starting at 70. Clocks are still stable at 1175 and 1550. Okay, this artifacting doesn't look so bad. During the score I actually posted, there was about the last 10 seconds of GT2, the screen was completely blank, except for the FPS counter at the bottom. So, yeah. 74. And we're done. Okay. Yeah, 13,900. That's really, really low. I think there's significantly extra overhead with the recording, because the submission was at almost 1,000 points, more than 1,000 points higher. So yeah, I just went through and just give you guys a quick breakdown of this. Pretty happy with the score myself. Could probably do better, but also maybe I can take 25th. Although as soon as you start getting really close to 25, 24 is a little bit harder. I don't know if this has the legs to do it without doing some extra stuff with the RAM. And then there's a whole bunch of scores pretty close to each other again. But getting top 20, that 14.3, I'm really going to struggle there. I'm planning on getting into like hard modding and cap modding and things like that eventually. But I need to get solder and need to get some soldering experience and all that. Yeah. So there's a couple of really impressive scores here. And pretty far back, but pretty happy with it so far. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers.